day 8 as your Ring Post Daily Champion. And it feels great, but it feels better with this around my waist. But you know, Ty, as much as I want to be proud of you for ending your short-lived losing streak and winning a title like we all knew you would again, you've disappointed me. See, Tyreyk Ramsey thinks he's a good champion. He thinks he's smart. But I'm about to prove to you, Tyreyk, and all the fans from Ring Post Daily to TSW and back, I'm about to show you why you're dumb. Because, see, everyone in the rumor mill is saying that Tyreek's going to cash in on Joey the very first chance he gets. Now, Tyreyk, that is your option. That is your choice. That is your right and opportunity. But if you cash in on me the very first chance you get, you know what you're doing, Tyreyk? You're being the people's puppet. You're proving everyone else right. You're writing the history they want you to write. Now, come on, Ty. I know that old Tyreyk that held the title the longest and did the this and that. I know that the old Tyreyk is in there. And that old Tyreyk had balls. Balls and hearts of a champion. But this Tyreyk that I know nowadays, that's not the Tyreyk that I once respected. No, this Tyreyk I know nowadays is so weak and so desperate that he has to have the 1-point advantage to take this off of me. Let me point something out, Tyreyk. When I won this title against 2 men, including yourself, I didn't have a 1-point advantage. And I did everything I said I was going to do. I told you that gut feelings told me I was going to win the championship. You said I'd never win it, and 5 minutes later, I did. Tyreyk, I beat 2 guys, including you, without the advantage. Now you see that I'm not the same Joe that you knew from years ago. I'm not the same Joe that joined this podcast. You see, the old Joe didn't win a thing. The old Joe didn't have confidence. The old Joe was never a champion. But here we are going on 3 years now, and that's all changed. I've changed. So much so that I am confident, Tyreyk, I can beat you 0-0. So much so that I proposed the first ever survival of the fittest, winners take all match. I would team up with Eddie, my wrestler. You team up with the dark horse, Austin Cochran. And if you and Austin won, you would keep your ring and Austin would win the championship. But if Eddie and me won, I would keep my title. Eddie would bring home the ring general reign to the Brotherhood. But Tyreyk, I come up with these Vince Russo style ideas, and this was actually one of those ideas that are legendary, that are great. And this idea may never come around again. This opportunity may never come again. You talk about being the first ever this, the first ever that. I gave you a choice. I gave you an opportunity to compete in the first ever survival of the fittest, winner takes all style type of match. And you could have won that match. You could have been able to say you won the first ever match of that type of match too, but you didn't. You turned it down. And I want Austin and Eddie to look at something here. When you had a choice to make history and be a part of history, and Tyreyk stole that from you because he's selfish. He wants to come and take this title off me so bad that he has to beat me. He has to get that 1-point advantage. He has to beat me for this title because it's eating him alive. Instead of making history, he wants to do the every day, every month type of match. So when we go in to the next super card, it's going to be a normal style match. And that's all fun and all, but it's just kind of stale. It's just kind of same old, same old. I proposed a match that's never been done and may never happen again because I wanted to stir the pot a bit. I wanted to get those who are truly invested in Ring Post Daily, the fans. I wanted to give everyone from the fans to the co-hosts to the champs to the challengers. I wanted to give everybody something fresh. I wanted you and me, Tyreyk, to fight it out in a war-style type of match. You gather your army within you and Austin. I gather my army within me and Eddie, and we fight it out in a team effort, winner takes all match. But you refused because you know something, Tyreyk, and that's that you can't beat me. You can't take this title off of me unless you have that 1-point advantage help. Now, Tyreyk, I want to point one more thing out to you, and then I'll let you go. But I want you to chew on this for the night. I want you to think about it in your sleep. I won this title without the advantage. If you beat me for this title using your 1-point advantage, what does that say about you? How can you call yourself a champion? How can you say you beat me for this title if you had to do it with the 1-point advantage? I don't know, Ty. It's just not the Tyreyk I once knew. It's not the Tyreyk that I once respected. I expected more of you, Tyreyk. I offered you a challenge, once in a lifetime type of challenge, and you run away from it. And now you want to talk about cashing in on me the very first chance you get? One, that just says how desperate you are. Two, it's just a cry for help. Oh, I need it. I need that 1-point advantage to help me out. And two, Ty, it would just say that you chose the coward's way out. So Tyreyk, when I defend my title later on this month, sure, you can have the 1-point advantage. Sure, you can do whatever you want, whatever it takes. But I'm just letting you know that if you beat me with a 1-point advantage and the first chance you get, not only will it scream desperate, but it will show 100% that you couldn't take the title off of me without that help. We have time, Tyreyk. You can still sign yourself up for the survival of the fittest, winner takes all type of challenge. I have a feeling you won't, but it's there. And I'm even going to give you, Tyreyk, the next 24 hours to accept my challenge. After 24 hours go by, I won't do it. I won't accept it. Hell, maybe next year this type of match idea gets proposed, and maybe if I'm in the running, maybe I just won't accept it, you know? Maybe one of these days, Tyreyk, you're going to challenge me to a type of match, or you're going to challenge me to a special stipulation, and maybe I'm just going to turn it down because that's what you did to me. Tyreyk, I'm giving you one chance, 24 hours to accept my challenge. If you run away from it, you run away from it. No harm, no foul. But just know that you're taking history-making moments away from not just Eddie and me, not just from Austin and Ring Post Daily and the fans, but more importantly, you're taking history-making moments from yourself. We're both champions, Tyreyk. Why don't we fight like it? Why don't we gather our armies together and fight an all-out war? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But I have a feeling I know your answer because you're predictable. You're a puppet. And you're not the same Tyreyk I once knew. The Tyreyk I once knew would take any challenge. The Tyreyk I once knew would never back down from a challenge. The Tyreyk I once knew would defend his title. But now you're just that Tyreyk that not only loses a lot, not only drops the ball a lot, but runs away from a challenge. And will do anything to take this off of me. 24 hours, Tyreyk. Make your mind up. You got my champion's approval. All I need is yours, and we can go to the RPD head of RPD, and we can make this match happen. It's up to you, Tyreyk. Do you want to be a champion, or do you want to be a coward? It's up to you. But if you're not going to accept my challenge, at least do one thing for me, Tyreyk. One simple thing. One thing that I ask you, Tyreyk, is if you're not going to accept my challenge, at least appreciate me.